My name is Michael Cohill, and during this semester, I tested myself to inhabit ways of gaining a sense of sustainability within the natural environment that can be consistent for the rest of my life. I called it the cycle. We, as human beings, have the freedom to make our own choices, and because of that freedom, we have little concern over the consequences to our actions on a daily basis. In this sense, I am talking about global warming. Two of the main contributors to global warming are electricity/heat and agriculture. We live in a world where technology is essential, and the mass production of manufactured goods are often coated with plastic. Factories, corporations, urban infrastructure, and even your daily household appliances. These things all rely on generating electricity through burning fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas. It's a cycle that is repeating and continually increasing as manufacturer production has risen at a commencing rate. Electricity usage already accounts for 40% cause behind global warming. This manufacturing age has forgotten about our natural environment, as forests around the world are being cut down every second of every day, releasing carbon dioxide into the air. While the sole purpose of cutting is building more urban infrastructure that once again relies on electricity. This is the cycle that I'm talking about that we need to break. Agriculture has become a leading source of pollution in many countries as well, through pesticides, fertilizers, and other toxic chemical materials that can poison fresh water, air, and the marine ecosystems around as the runoff leaks into the soil. We as human beings need to find more sustainable alternatives for generating electricity, building infrastructure, and farming. Wind and solar energy is already a good example of an alternative that is already in place and should be implemented more, as only 10% of the world has transitioned from fossil fuels. As people with money and power make the big changes, that doesn't count us out as individuals. Our ecological footprints are often worse than we think through our daily usage of electricity, plastic, and transportation. We all need to take a step back and look at what we can do to live an eco-friendly life. Everyone has a part to play. This project directly relates to Pillar 2 of the Earth Charter, as it focuses on ecological integrity and responsibilities within our involvement with the natural world. In particular, Principles 5 and 7. Principle 5 stating, protect and restore the integrity of Earth's ecological systems with special concern for biological diversity in the natural processes that sustain life. Highlighting points E and F, which talk about managing fossil fuels and renewable resources, protecting the health of ecosystems as we are outpacing the regenerative process. And Principle 7, which states to adopt patterns of production, consumption, and reproductions that safeguard Earth's regenerative capacities, human rights, and community well-being. The purpose for this project was to find a sense of integrity and stay consistent with a new sustainable way of living, while promoting a conscious lifestyle that makes the right choices to better our own ecological footprint. As in the past, I have been someone who leaves the lights on, the TV on when I leave the house, spends most of my time indoors, and goes through plastic and water at a commencing rate. So I made it my goal to adopt to a new standard of living, one that's sustainable and simple enough to carry within me following this course. In order to obtain this goal, I looked in detail of what I do on a daily basis that affects the environment and what I could do to change. Through electricity usage, this includes lights, outlets, the washer dryer, and the television. I've tried to spend more time away from technology, indulging myself within the natural environment. In order to do something different and get myself out of the shell, I thought planting a small garden would bring a sense of identity while gaining the skills and experience to maintain one in the future. It's something I never pictured myself doing, yet now got the full experience. Besides saving costs from growing food, gardening is good for your mental health. Having a space that's open, clear with fresh air, can really take the stress away and clear your mind. While my goal and plan was clear, the objectives were to try to find a sustainable method for every problem I had. I researched my usage before to get a better understanding, starting with electricity. For starters, I've tried to limit my television usage, which is clearly the biggest problem I've had. At one time in the past, it would remain on all day, but lately I have been setting 30-minute sleep timers before sleep, and I've unplugged it when I'm not home. I also have an array of LED lights that would remain on at night, simply because I don't like sleeping in the dark. I have been turning them off during the daytime and leaving a 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. schedule every night, so I don't forget, and have purchased a sole nightlight to fix the problem. During the day, I've tried to make as much usage of natural light as I can, and I'm quick to flip the switch off if no one is in the room. For household appliances such as a toaster, air fryer, I found it easy to unplug when not in use. Owning a power strip near my computer so that you can flip all the outlets at once. Two big energy uses are the dishwasher and the washer and dryer. To solve these problems, I've been hand cleaning plates and various dishes to try to reduce the amount of times we run the dishwasher. The same goes with the washer and dryer, as I've let things dry naturally in the sunlight, as well as tried to use cold water as periodically as I can. While it's not easy to stay away from technology indoors, I've tried to get outside more over the course of this semester, including gardening and visiting FGCU's food forest. For my garden, I planted various edible crops including basil, parsley, jalapeno, and thyme. With research, materials, and the tools needed, I created a green space with the limited space I had. For my action plan, on the very first week, starting on the weekend of September 24th, I researched the different items and materials I needed to start a garden, including soil, a hoe, pots, seeds, and organic fertilizer, while also researching the different methods I could use to reduce electricity usage. After 2 weeks of recovery from Hurricane Ian, on the 8th of October, I went back for a second supply run, planting basil while focusing on TV usage. Week 5, my basil has grown, which was one of the fastest growing plants. The next crop I planted was parsley, which I used organic fertilizer for, as well as focusing on washer-dryer usage that week. Week 6, on October 23rd, I took a third trip to Lowe's, and I bought jalapeno seeds to add to my garden, as well as focusing on dishwasher usage. Week 8, on the 5th of November, I planted my final crop, thyme, which I did not even know existed. During week 9, I had downtime, so I took a trip to FGCU's food forest. In week 10, finally, my garden was done. It was time to reflect. Following this project, I calculated that I saved an estimate of up to $27 on my electricity bill, which might not seem like a lot, but compared to where I used to be, it's a step in the right direction, and it shows that I can make this change going forward and stay consistent. I've also lowered my emissions rate per day, which is another positive. I've adapted these daily habits to better my footprint moving forward. I've also learned a lot about gardening, and it's helped me calm down and gave me a reason to be outdoors and appreciate the environment around me.